Hey, it's MK, and I am back with another Baby Got Scraps, and this one is going to be like a scrap and a half, a layout and a half. So what I have here is two 12 by 12 cardstocks. Now they are close to my heart, so they are double-sided, and at first what I'm showing you here is a 6 by 12 flip-flap, but I am going to switch it out for an 8 by 12. Now the 8 by 12s are not available anymore, so what I have is what I have. I'm also showing you a couple die cuts that I'm going to be using, some wooden gears that I found at Hobby Lobby, a few leftover pieces. One of them is a gear that I mix meteored, metal gear, and then a Tim Holtz, kind of like a committee token. I'm not sure what it's called. And then I have these cork shapes. They are brand new to close to my heart, and I'm going to try to use those. But spoiler alert, I set them off to the side and totally spaced that I even pulled them out. I also have these bits and pieces. Now, you guys will never believe this, but back in August, I did a 31 days of cut file fun, and those are leftover pieces from that. I told you guys, I don't throw anything away. I am ridiculous. All right, I have an abundance of photos. Seriously, I have 8 photos, and one of them is a panoramic photo that I actually just shrunk onto a 4 by 6. Now, I can't see anything in it, but my kids think it's a pretty cool picture, so there it is. It's for my kids. I have lots of these little like blue burst papers that I used on several, I want to say like superhero layouts. But the blue in this is just gorgeous. I couldn't pass it up. And then I had this, I've got lots of other scraps too from 6x6 pads and things like that. But I had this, I think it's an A4 paper, to be honest. It came in a kit. I'm not even sure where it's from, but the kit that I got it in, or I received it from, was a Elizabeth Craft Designs kit. And so I just love the fact that it was wood grain and blue. All right, I'm going to take one of those 12 by 12, and I gave myself two 12 by 12s because technically I'm creating 2 layouts. So I thought that that was not too much of a cheat and it was allowed. But I took that 12 by 12 and cut it in half because at first I was going to only do a 6 by 12 layout. But then I decided to turn it into a 6 by 8, which is perfect because then I had 2 strips that were almost 2 inches of that blue burst paper. And so I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be perfect. But when I put them together, like I said, I didn't realize they weren't exactly 2 inches. So I'm going to take another A4 paper and actually glue the pieces back to back to that A4 paper. This is where I get my A4 paper, to be honest, you guys, is from my Tonic Studios craft kit. I love the fact that it is so close to 12 inches that I don't even sweat bullets about it. I just love the fact that it is the right size and I can get at least 4 photo mats out of them. I'm a happy camper, you guys. I love getting all those different kinds of papers in my Tonic Studios kits. Seriously, I love it to death. All right, so while I back up these papers, now all the time, every time I do a pocket page, I always back my papers. Now in my layouts, like my 12 by 12 pocket or my 12 by 12 pages, I don't glue those pages together, you guys. I only do this for pockets. I don't know why, but it bothers the living daylights out of me to see things shift in those pockets. But in a full size 12 by 12, I don't even notice it. I don't know. I'm strange. I'll be the first one to admit it. I'm strange. So to cover up my gap, I am using this tear tape that, like I said, I picked it up in one of my travels because I forgot all of my adhesive. Go me. And I'm taking this twine. Now it's no, it's not twine. It's burlap with lace behind it. I think I picked it up at Joann's. I don't know. It was a couple years ago. I have this gorgeous dark blue. I have an off-white, a gray, a beautiful sage green. I got them in all the colors. I think I even had brown at once, but I liked that one so much, I don't have it anymore. So I've been wanting to use an excuse for using up this blue one because the blue is gorgeous. So it covered up the seam nicely. Now I'm going to create a block style, or I think it's kind of a block style layout. I just am randomly throwing the pieces together where they kind of look like they belong, I'm just kind of layering up the pieces to make it look like they're blocked. Well, then when I laid my blue strips up and down, I realized that I can make a faux piece of paper without actually needing or having that piece of paper. So I put the blue at the top and the bottom, and then I just layered everything else on top, and I just was pleased with it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks awesome. So I went ahead and I haven't really glued everything down together. But I did realize that my two photos that are going on my main layout are almost exactly the same photo. It's just one of them, my windshield was kind of sort of dirty, and the other one, I took it in a spot where you couldn't see as much dirt. Don't ask. But right at the moment, I decided that since I'm doing almost 3 layouts, if you think about it, the 8 by 12 front and back, and then a 12 by 12, I had to divvy up the supplies that I chose, and my brain can't function and do the 12 by 12 with all the supplies, because then I will use them all up and not have enough to do the other 2 layouts. So I have to do this part. I have to do this step. I can't not do it, right? So I just needed to do that really quick before moving on. And once I did that, I was happy, and I was like, okay, now I can start gluing the things down. I can start, because I know what's going to go with what layout. I went ahead and I already glued my photos down to the 8 by 12 on both sides. That way it was a little bit more, or a little bit less shifting of the papers when I had to move it off of my layout, because truth be told, I don't always get to scrapbook all in one session. Sometimes I have a live coming up. Sometimes I have, other little assignments that I have to get done, and I have to move my layout. So it is very easy for me to just kind of tack my photos down and leave them, and then I can also tuck things under as well. So when I took these photos, or actually on our way to Bodhi, I was so super stoked, you guys. This is like my favorite thing in the world. I could go and look at old abandoned buildings forever. I love them. I love looking to see how they were built. I love looking to see, what, like even the glass. Have you ever been in a building and the windows kind of had like a warping effect to them? That's just gorgeous. And I mean, why did we stop doing that? I know we perfected it. I know that we got better at making glass, but seriously, that's gorgeous, you guys. I don't know. I guess I am just a lost soul out of time. I don't know, but I fall in love with all the things. And when we were driving up on Bodhi, my camera was like click, 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 every millisecond, I swear. I just couldn't. And when I had to go through all of my photos, which I'm too embarrassed to even tell you how many I had, I was having a hard time trying to decide which one of my children to let go, basically. That's how dramatic I was picking out these photos for this layout. Every single one of them, it's like, oh, but here you can see like the whole, the mill in the city, and it's looming over the city, and here look at the clouds in this one, and oh my God, look at this one, and here I didn't see that big old building right here. And I mean, every excuse, and I'm thinking, you know what, I'm just gonna do them all. That's the game plan. Why not? There's nobody here that says I can't. So I'll just stick them all in my 12 by 12, and I'll figure out how to add all these photos later, which that's why I love flip flops, right? That's why I love pocket pages, because I don't have to decide, what photos not to scrap. I can scrap them all if I want, because that's what I want. And that is, truth be told, why I decided to just start going crazy with all my layouts, and why I started going, and adding all of the flips and the flaps and the pockets and the sizes, the 6x8s, the 12x12s, the 8.5 by 8.5, or 8.5 by 11s, the 8x8s. I mean, I was just like, I really want this in my album, but it's not 12x12 worthy. It can't hold the hammer. I mean, I'm dead serious, you guys. It was just an epiphany one day. And I know I've talked about this before, seriously. But I love the fact that I have that freedom. I love the fact that if I wanted to scrap all 4,000 photos that I took in 2019, I can. Yeah, I'm not going to. Trust me. But I can. There is nothing, no rule that says I can't put almost the exact same identical photo on one layout. Because look, I just did. Does it look okay? I think so. I mean, you guys, I just love it. And I don't know, but and this is my thing, this is something that I love to do. As much as I love to scrapbook, right? It's just so cool. And I'm always trying to encourage everyone, that there is no rule in scrapbooking. There is no rule that says you have to make a decision on which photo to scrap. No, you don't. Do it all, if you want to. I was just telling Janet the other day that I wished I could have taken one of these and blew it up to like 12x12 and then did a small little layout on top of the blown up version, like photo on top of photo type of deal. I don't have one of those printers, but that would just be an amazing layout, because it's like, I just used like quote unquote paper that was my photo, and about about my subject matter that I love. And oh my God, it was just like sensory overload right there. Seriously. So basically, how I really wanted my layout to go was, I wanted all these little leaves because they kind of remind me of the sagebrush. Now, I clearly don't have a die that has sagebrush. Oh, they're going to make one now, I bet. Anyways, so what I was going for was having a whole bunch of leaves and then a bunch of gears, because when you first roll into Bodie and you finally park and you follow this path to get into town, is kind of what they call it. You run into, for one, it's the restrooms. And it's a facility that they built. Clearly, you can tell that it's, from the 21st century, because it's a brick building, and it's got the bathrooms, and it has all of these plaques all over the place. It has the intro plaque to, the gentleman named Bodie that discovered the first small little mining venture there, and they named it Bodie, but they accidentally didn't know how to spell his name because the poor gentleman died before they could ask. And so that's how Bodhi got its name, but it's misspelled. It's just all these really cool things. But then there's also a whole bunch of like extra milling components scattered about, because it's when they were taking apart the mill, and I say they being like the people that decided to preserve this entire town. They started taking things out to try and spread it out. And then that way it wouldn't become like a hazard type of deal if people accidentally, tripped on it or something. And so the way that I decorated my layout was exactly how, when you first get to Bodhi, it reminded me of, because you've got the bushes and the sagebrush and the greenery, the nature, and then all of these gears and pulleys and things in amongst them, like the nature has grown around them. And it's my favorite thing, you guys. It's my favorite site. So anyways, here is my layout. I did label my, my layout, the road to Bodhi, because that is the road that we were on when we first came up to Bodhi. And I just was so excited. I mean, I couldn't believe it. My husband was like, "Oh, my stars. It's like a kid in a candy store. Seriously, it doesn't take much to, make my day. And this is one of the things. And so anyways, I just had a blast. The colors that I chose, the browns and the blues, were perfect. It's like the earth and the sky. I know, getting all, woo, earth, wind, and fire on y'all. But that's kind of where I was going with the color choices that I picked, is the earth and the sky, because that's a lot of what I see in my photos. And that blue just absolutely matched beautifully. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate you guys sticking around till the end. Be sure to check out everyone else that is playing along with Baby Got Scraps, and I will check y'all later. Bye.